Hi everyone, good afternoon. So happy to have you here with us for this virtual session. I'm Nadav from the university programs here at Google.
I'm Dina. I'm a software engineer here at Google Tel Aviv.
And we have a busy afternoon ahead of us. So first of all, we really want to say thank you for taking the time and joining us today. I'm quickly going to go over the agenda for this session. So we're basically going to start with speaking about Google and the values of the company. Then we're going to speak about the intern position that we have to offer for students here at Google. We saw all the registration forms and all the requests that you sent in. Most of you asked for us to speak about CV tips. So it's definitely something that we're going to cover in the session today. Then I'm going to hand over the mic to Dina. Dina is going to speak about her journey at Google with a lot of interesting and technical issues and challenges that she's going through. And then we'll finish with questions. Even though it's just the two of us here in front of you, we have some of my lovely team members joining us as well over chat. So Emily, Yanina, and XT are available through the live chat. Feel free to ask questions. That's why they're here. And we're happy to answer everything. So before we move forward, I want to introduce you to our hashtag of Google Students. We have a Twitter page, we have an Instagram page, and Facebook. So definitely, if you see us on campus, if you have any Google-related activities as part of your student's life, definitely put posts, don't be shy, and put the hashtag on so we can see it, like, and we'll be happy to be in touch with you. So I want to start by talking something really, really general. What is the mission that Google has? So our founders came with a really, we can say something very ambitious, and that is to organize the world's information and make it accessibly, universal, and useful. So basically, we're trying to organize all the information out there, making it accessible for everyone, no matter in which country are you, no matter in which social demographic you are. We want to make it accessible to everyone. And as part of it, you can really see Google evolving through the years and having a lot of different products. Even though we started as a search company, now we have over 7 products that already reached 1 billion users each, and we're still growing. So on the slide, you can see all of our different products for right now. So products like Android, products like Search, YouTube, Google Play, Gmail, Chrome, that's products that already reach 1 billion users. So definitely we're putting the user first, we're putting definitely emphasis on scale, and our users database keeps increasing. And that's part of really making everything accessible. So even though we started at search, we keep evolving. So it can be email, it can be a browser, it can be cloud, which is something that we're putting an emphasis on these days. Keep trying and find new ways to make everything accessible for everyone. And the best single perk at Google, so even though a lot of people are seeing movies and video clips and articles about us, but if you'll ask an average Googler what he thinks is the best thing at Google, most likely you will always get the same answer, and it's not the food, which usually people expect that, but it's definitely the people. The DNA at Google, and we will speak about that in a second, is really putting the emphasis on the people. We want to hire the best people, people that are friendly, people that it's nice to work with, definitely intelligent people, but also that have the extra added value, and that's something we're looking for, and we're going to speak about it in 1 second. So we want to start by speaking about your career at Google. So everyone joining us today are students from across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and what we have to offer as students is our internships. So we have 2 types of internships. The first one that we offer is called the Classic Internship Program, and you can already write down the dates. We will start the hiring process on October 26th. So you can just log into our website and you can see it over there once it will be open. Feel free to join, submit your resume. We'll speak about all the qualifications in a second, but that's our summer program. It's targeted for last year students. So just make sure you're already strong in algorithm and data structures, and we'll be happy to get your resume and check if that's a potential fit. Our second summer internship is called STEP. So STEP is a summer internship mostly targeted on underrepresented talent, and our focus is really to help showing more underrepresented talent in the high-tech industry. It's open for everyone, so don't be shy and feel free to submit your resume. And you can already submit your resume during the 1st and 2nd year of school. That will open a bit later this year. So STEP will open mid-October for most of EMEA. And in Israel, we will open this role in December. So just a quick reminder, the Classic internship will open September 26th. and the STEP internship will open mid-October in Europe and mid-December in Israel. So, the million-dollar questions, what are we looking for in interns and engineers? So as part of our evaluation process, we have 4 scopes that we're looking for, and that's the 4 different criteria that we're targeting to see during the interview process. So the first thing is how a candidate thinks. So someone might find this title a bit general, but we want to hear you think. So when you come for an interview, speak up. Even though you're sure you know the answer, or even though you're sure that maybe you're stuck and it's something that you're not aware of, think out loud. Make us hear you think, and that we know exactly what is going through your head. And even if the answer not be the best one, if we know that the process is right, that means that we have potential and that we would like to move forward. Second thing will definitely be leadership skills. So a question that we get frequently is, how can we show leadership as students? Even though we don't necessarily have leadership experience from the industry, that's completely fine. Try to think about social organizations you're working on, volunteering, clubs during school, extracurriculums that you're doing. Everything that can show us that you have this potential will be great for us to hear, and please mention that over your CV. The third criteria that we're looking for is definitely the classic one, and that's role-related knowledge. Obviously, if we're looking for an internship position, we will interview for algo and coding skills, so that's something that we're looking forward to seeing and understanding what's your level with the experience that we're looking for. And the last, but definitely not least, is googliness. So what is googliness? No one really has an answer that we can say really out loud, but that's definitely the DNA factor that we're looking for. We're looking for people which we would like to work with. We're looking for people that seems cooperative, people that look intelligent, and that's just someone that it will be great to go in the morning in the office and see him. So try as much as possible, because the interview process can definitely be stressful sometimes. Try and be yourself, try and be as natural as you can, and show us the real you. That will be the winning thing for you to pass the interview. And as your suggestions, a bit CV tips on what are we looking for. So first of all, on the basic things that you need to be aware of, know who your audience is. So a lot of time people are writing their resumes thinking that an engineer will be the first one to see them, but most of the time a recruiter will see it first. So keep in mind that's the 2 target audience that are going to watch over your resume. So please make sure everything is written down, explain properly, that whoever will read it will understand exactly what's written. Specifically for us and for other companies, make sure that you submit your resume in the format of Google Docs or PDF. That's the best one that are preferred. Sometimes other formats get a bit disrupted when you submit them, so that's our recommendation. And make sure that your CV are clear and consistent. So still speaking about format, make sure that everything is consistent in terms of timeline, that you don't have any gaps, that you don't have any dates that suddenly may look a bit awkward or that are inconsistent. And make sure that the format is clear, clean, definitely readable and nice. An additional thing is definitely use standard font type and not smaller than 11 points. A lot of time people are trying to use really nice graphics, but if we won't have them on our laptops, we'll just see gibberish or something that will be unreadable. So make sure to use something standard that you'll be 100% sure that the other side will see it properly and clean. And as well, separate your content into sections. Help us to read it as possible and cleaner as we can, so that we'll see everything in bullet points, everything super clear, super structured. So it can be bullet points like personal information, education, technical skills, your work experience. As students, you definitely have extracurricular activities, so definitely mention that and don't be shy. If you have any achievements, if you did a project and you finished with distinction, if you graduated summa cum laude or whatever, mention that. A lot of time people are worried that they will sound a bit too much and maybe too full of themselves, so they neglect a lot of things, but we want to see them. So you can be humble, but don't forget to mention everything, because help us try and identify you in the crowd and make sure that you're the right person for the position. And the next tip will be mostly relevant for PhDs or advanced degrees, but if you have any publications that are out, if you have any patents that are written under your name, mention that. We're definitely interested in seeing that, no matter which role it is, and we would love to see it in the resume. And something that you will hear a lot in Google, focus on result and impact. you can mention that you did a project, but we will have no idea what the impact was. Maybe for someone from the outside, it will look very small. Maybe for someone, it will look very unclear. We want to know what exactly is the results and impact. So try and use data, try and use metrics rather than using long descriptions and long stories. Try to be straight to the point and mention exactly what was the impact. It can be percentage, it can be budget numbers, it can be number lines of codes or whatever. Just try to put it inside so we can understand what's going on. And as you saw in the previous slide, try and use it as bullet points because that will be the easier to read for us and make sure that we're not missing anything. So after saying all of that, and hopefully I've answered most of your questions, how to apply. So just visit google.com/students for the best role for you. We also have a lot of prep materials that can help you put focus on during your studies, put focus before the interview season starting out. So definitely visit our career site. You have the address on screen right now, and make sure to find the best opportunity that we have to offer you. Please make sure to upload your resume in English and your transcript. It's completely fine if it's unofficial, just make sure to submit it and press submit. And that's it. Now we're going to move over to Dina that will share her story.
Hi. So my name is Dina, and I'm a software engineer here at Google in Tel Aviv. And I'm currently doing my master's in Tel Aviv University, where I also did my BSc in computer science and economics. And I came here today to tell you a little bit about what it's like being an intern at Google, and tell you a little bit about my work, and share my experiences with you. So before we dive in, I just wanted to show you where I work. So these are the Google offices in Tel Aviv, and as you can see, they are incredibly beautiful. And here are some more pictures. So you can see each floor is different, and it's very colorful. And the best part is that we have an incredible view to the beach from the 35th floor. So how did I join Google? I joined as an intern, as a software engineer intern, about a year and a half ago. I had just started my master's degree when a recruiter from Google called, and I thought, why not give it a shot? So I had 2 technical interviews, just like Nadav said, and in these interviews, the emphasis was really on algorithm and coding. So I was asked a question, and I needed to think about the best solution for this question, explain it to my interviewer, and then implement it in code. So about a week later, the recruiter called me from Google and told me I passed. Yay! And I started working at Google 2 months later. So when I joined Google, I was assigned a host, who is also a software engineer from my team. So each intern is assigned a host who is actually your professional buddy, and he will guide you through your internship and help you plan your next steps at Google. And except for that, you're also assigned a buddy, who is more like a friend, and you can ask them any unrelated to work questions or any questions that you don't want to sound silly in front of your host. So when you arrive to Google, you're not alone. And so in your first few weeks at Google, you will be learning the internal fundamental Google technologies. And trust me, there are many. So your team will help you focus on the ones that are relevant for you and relevant for your team. And these are sort of like tutorials, and they're actually really fun. So once you've settled in and you've done your tutorials and you're ready, you'll be assigned with your first project within the team. And now my internship was a year long, which is not unusual for Israel, but it's different per country. So I had more than one project throughout my internship. But don't worry, because your project fits the duration of your internship. You will have time to finish your project. So these projects, why are they special? Well, first of all, these are projects that the team does want to execute, but they're relatively not urgent, and a new member of the team can do them, an intern. So you can start work immediately on these projects, and you can progress at your own pace, which is important because you will create your own timeline, but you're the one creating these timelines and not someone else. So as an intern, I was an integral part of the team, and I worked on real products that are used all over the world and are used by millions of users. For example, my first project at Google was to create a security-related system which affected more than 1 million users a day, which is incredible because I had been at Google just for, a few months, and I had already so much impact. It was really, really incredible. So this first project of mine, I planned it and I designed it. And after launching, I measured and monitored it. And so I actually owned it end to end. And at the end, sense my impact and changes. And it really was so satisfying and very rewarding. So you're probably asking yourself, how does a week of an intern look at Google? So, first of all, you have your weekly meetings with your host. As we said, you are assigned a host. And in these weekly meetings, you update your host about your progress and about the challenges that you encountered. And your host helps you set future goals and think about how you can develop and grow at Google. And except for that, you have your team meetings, which are pretty similar to the one-on-ones with your host, except in the team meetings, the whole team updates about their progress. And this way, you are exposed to all the projects that your team is working on. And this is a great place to ask questions. So feel free to ask, don't be shy. And except for these meetings, there are many other meetings and events that you can attend in Google, except for those we just mentioned. For example, earlier this week, I attended a presentation skills session in order to prepare for this session, and I hope it's working. So besides all these professional aspects, Google offers a fully equipped gym, which is super fun. I go a few times a week, and we have TRX and yoga classes and many other things. And last but not least, which I wanted to mention, are the volunteering opportunities at Google. And I personally like volunteering in the Google Summer Camp, which helps girls in high school prepare for the Computer Science Olympics here in Israel. And I think it's important, but there are many, many other volunteering opportunities at Google throughout the year. So here are some pictures of me and my team going to the gym on the right, doing yoga on Yoga International Day last year. And here we go again. I make them come with me to TRX lessons. And the cherry on top for me is that the offices are dog friendly. Yay! So as you can see, we have some non-human visitors, and it really makes my day. So another special thing I wanted to share with you is about the Google culture. So the Google culture encourages to help outside of one's scope or projects. And this is not just a cliche, because Google promotes the peer bonus program, which is basically one Google who nominates another, and the nominee receives a small monetary bonus. So this creates a great atmosphere because you can recognize your peers for something exceptional that they have done for Google. And I'll just give you a small example. When I joined Google as an intern, I started organizing these night outs for the team. Like once a month, we went out for a beer. And I organized these really fun activities and these embarrassing games. And I thought it was important that we hang out after work. And after a few months, one of the teammates rewarded me with a peer bonus and saying that they appreciated the time I spent for organizing these nights. And I just want to say I really enjoyed organizing these nights anyway. But being appreciated by one of the teammates, well, was really satisfying again. So that's very special. And another nice program I want to mention is the 20% program at Google. The company allows employees to spend up to 20% of their time working on a passion project of their own creation. And this led to products that you might know today. For example, Google News or Google's Autocomplete, which was actually created here in Israel. So I also think that's great. So to recap this part of the introduction, the work at Google is impactful, it's diverse, it's interesting, it's fun, and it's global. You get to meet and work with people from all around the world. And I'll just give you one last example. As interns, you attend the Intern Summit, which occurs in the summer, and I attended the one last year in Zurich. And in the Intern Summit, we met interns from all over Europe, Middle East, and Africa, which is you guys. And it was just an incredible experience because during the summit, we attended really interesting lectures about machine learning, about system design workshop, even about personal branding. And in addition to that, some interns volunteered, I was one of them, to present their project to the rest of the interns. And it was really interesting to see how much impact interns have at Google. We heard about intern projects at YouTube and Chrome Web and any product that you know today. So there's interns everywhere at Google, and they have lots of impact. So, these are just a few pictures of the Intern Summit. You can see me in the first row on the left. I'm like the only one with my hands up. And here are some more pictures, and here's my favorite one because it's so colorful. And so now I want to tell you a little bit about what I do at Google. So I'm part of the Security Center team, which is part of the identity team here in Israel. And just in Israel, we have over 100 engineers in identity, and we have many more in California and Germany and all around the world. So overall, identity's goal is to keep the user's account safe and private, help the user follow their own activities and settings, and help restore their account in case of loss. So this is our main page of identity. And you can type in the URL myaccount.google.com and you'll reach this page. And we help you avoid hijackers so that they won't go in. So my team is responsible for the sign-in and security part, which is responsible to display recently used devices and recent activities in your account. And you can change the way you sign into your account using two-step verification or changing your password. So that is my page. That's our team. We're responsible for the security of your account. And I would like to tell you about a new sign-in feature that my team has developed about a year ago. And you can try it later. I use it, of course. So this is a pretty cool feature. Why? Because we let you sign into your account without using your password, meaning you can sign into your email without using your password, but instead using your phone, and without adding any risk to your sign-in flow. So why is this good? Well, so let's look at the big picture for a minute. Google has over 1.5 billion users, and some of them, including yours truly, tend to forget things sometimes, including my password sometimes. So this flow will allow me to enter my account even if I forget my password, and we all know how frustrating it is to sit in front of your computer trying to sign into your account and not being able to because you forgot your password. So we'll walk through this new feature together. So as I said, this is the main page of identity, and we'll be clicking sign in and security. And we reach this page, and it says here, tired of typing passwords? Try using your phone to sign in instead. Yes, I want to try. And what does it mean? It means that from now on, every time I sign into my account, I can easily use my phone instead of my password. Meaning, if I want to sign in from the library or from a device of a friend, I don't need to remember my password anymore. I can just use my phone, click yes, and I'm in. Okay, so it all sounds pretty easy and straightforward, right? Well, no, it's not. There are many security and privacy-related issues when developing front-end products because we don't want to add any risk to the sign-in flow. So what could be problematic here? Well, I'll let you think about it for a second, and then I'll tell you that, for example, what happens if I turned on this flow, I'm using this new feature, and now someone else who is not me is trying to access my account from a different device, and it isn't me. But right now I'm using my phone, I'm typing a message to a friend, and suddenly this prompt message comes up and I accidentally click yes. I just enabled someone and someone is now in my account and it's not me. Or what happens if I even read the question and I click yes anyway because I didn't quite understand what it meant? So again, we have a problem here and we let an intruder in. So how do we solve this problem? So what we thought would be a nice and elegant solution was to display, after you click yes, after the user clicked yes, to display on the screen 3 different numbers of 3 digits and display just one of them on the device that you're trying to sign in from. Now, if it's you, you'll be seeing a number on the device you're trying to sign in from and 3 numbers on your screen, on your phone, and we will be asking you, please choose the correct number. And you will know exactly which ones to choose because you're seeing it on the screen. But if this is not you, then first of all, we hope you will stop and ask, what are these numbers? This looks suspicious. And once you do, we hope you won't click any of these numbers. Therefore, you won't be letting anyone in. And even if you guess one of these numbers, it's less than 50% that you'll get it right. But we hope you won't. You won't be clicking those. So this was just one of the many cool features that my team has developed over the years. This one is about a year ago, and again, you can try it now at home. And the last topic I wanted to talk to you about is to tell you just about another team in Identity Israel. It's the account recovery team. And I wanted to tell you because it's an interesting team and they work pretty hard. And they provide a mechanism for users who no longer have access to their credentials to prove that they own their account. And for example, it could be users that forgot their password, unless they just turned on the flow, so it's not an issue for them anymore. But so it could be users who forgot passwords, or users who their account was accidentally deleted, or users that their account had really been hijacked. And the account recovery team deals with many of these requests a day, because as we said, there are many Google users. So there are many factors used in order to make sure that only you will be able to get back into your account. And account recovery team uses machine learning technologies for recognizing suspicious activity, and they use risk analysis models just to make sure that it's really you. And in more technical words, they're trying to minimize the false positive, which means not letting the bad guys in, while also minimizing the false negative, which is not letting the good guys in, well, because it's pretty frustrating, again, to get locked out of your account. So as you can understand, these features and logic are very complex, and they require planning and designing and collaboration between the different teams here in Israel or around the world. And this was just one example of many projects of one team, and also just one team amongst so many others who work hard every day to make Google products great. So I hope you feel a bit safer now, and that you enjoyed this session. I had a good time, and we will be answering your questions now.
Cool, so thank you, Dina. Sounds like we're having an interesting time here in Google. And now we're going to go over the questions. So, one of the questions was, how did I get to Google? So you already answered that.
Right.
So I think I'll go over that. So I was actually in my previous job, and I saw a posting on a Facebook group. I wasn't actively looking for a job, so I said, why not? Sounds interesting. Let's see what will happen. It was a very interesting interviewing process, I have to say, because I haven't been in an interview for 4 years, and the process is definitely a bit unique to Google. But all of my interviewers were amazing, and all of them were now my colleagues, so that was pretty much it. Yeah, I am, I have to say. Dina, do you want to mention a bit how did you study for the interviews?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, also the recruiter here at Google recommended me studying with the book Cracking the Code Interview. If you guys have heard of it, I really recommend going through the book. So I read through most of the chapters in the book, and the most important tip I have for you is don't just read the question and then look at the answer and say, oh yeah, that was what I was thinking, but try solving it yourself and try asking yourself like second steps of the question. For example, how do I make the solution better? What if I can't use this data structure? How do I solve it now? And really implement it in code. So that's my tip.
Cool, and something that I can add also is that feel free to try and practice on a whiteboard. Feel free to practice on even if you take your computer, just try and use it without autocomplete, because we really try and test you without you having the option to go for like cheats over the internet. So make sure that you're trying to work as clean as possible, and if the computer isn't working and you need to work on a whiteboard, so just make sure that you're not stressed because of that, because first time can be stressful.
Right. For example, I used a notepad on my computer. The simplest way, I think, to study. Yeah,
that's a good tip. So next question that we got, what is in your experience the most important thing an engineer should know for a successful career? As one already been in Google. So what do you think, Dina?
Well, maybe this question can be also for you. Maybe it's just a successful career, but I think you need to be eager to learn new things, and it's best if you're curious, and well, it's even better if you like what you're doing, but you need to like to take initiative and be responsible for what you do. And I think those are the overall for a successful career. Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I completely agree. And Google is a very dynamic company. We're constantly growing. We have new products all the time. So definitely putting focus on learning new things, and the opportunities are endless. So I completely agree with you. Another question is how easy it is for engineers to switch from a project to another as their interests change.
Do you want me to take? Okay, so as an engineer, I can tell you it is not hard because, well, as you know, Google is very big, so you can, and Google wants their employees to be satisfied, because a satisfied engineer works better and is happier. So it is easy to change teams and switch projects and even relocate if you really want to.
Yeah, and I have to say something that you'll hear a lot in Google is definitely the couple of words of internal mobility.
Right.
So it's definitely something that Google is encouraging to try and get out of your comfort zone. As Dina mentioned, there's endless projects, a lot of different product zones that you can move from one to the other. So even though the question is, of course, focused on the engineers, I can say that overall as a company, it's something that we're really encouraging. Another question, how much time do you spend coding and how much time thinking what to code, Dina? What do you do on weekends? So we have a lot of questions over here for you.
Okay, so I think that about 50% of the time I code or think about code, but the think about code is, well, we don't just code. We plan and design. We go back and forth between teams. We go back and forth with product, which is also important. So it's not all about coding. And as I said, we have also many weeklies and meetings. So I would say about 50% of my time. And on weekends, I do not work most of the time unless it's something very urgent. I think that at Google there's a very good work-life balance. So unless it's something very urgent, we do not work on weekends.
Yeah, and I have to add to that as well in terms of like work-life balance. So it's definitely something that we're all really putting a focus on. I think no one, from my personal experience, is really looking at the hours that you're working at,
Right.
but really just looking at the productivity. So it's not like someone is looking to see when you arrived or when you were leaving. So it's definitely not part of our agenda. Yeah, so definitely trying to be as balanced as we can. And I think you can see evidence of it because most of the engineers and the employees has a lot of different hobbies. So it can be sports, it can be traveling, it can be dancing or a lot of other things, languages. And each one of us has time to keep improving and growing in that directions.
Right.
Cool. So I think that was several of the questions that you asked. So first of all, thank you for that. I think we still have time for one more. So Dina, do you want to try and say like how long does a project usually take?
Yeah, sure. So it all depends. I'll answer that regarding your internship. So in my internship, I had between 3 and 4 projects, and they varied between, let's say, 3 months to almost 6 months. So projects are going to be around that sort of time. They will take time just for your planning and designing and implementing and understanding, and in order for it to be called a project, it really has to be whole and have all these steps in it and not just add another feature. So projects, I would say, take about between that time, between 2 months, but we could also have like this project where the whole teams take part in, and then it might take even longer, but no more than 6 months, something like that.
Great, thank you. So we want to summarize everything we just talked about. So first of all, really thank you for taking the time and joining us today from all across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We're very excited to have you here. So it's definitely was a great opportunity to speak to all of you. I hope you enjoyed this time. You can definitely reach out to us, all of you that got the invites through the email. If you have any questions or requests, you can email us back. We'll be happy to see your applications in the upcoming hiring season. Please don't be shy. We gave you some tips and things to think about when you build your resume, but we're definitely starting the interview season soon for our intern position, and we'd love to see you here. And we'd love to see you in future events. Reach out to us in your local university. My team in the past almost 3 months, we did around 70 events in 45 universities across EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So we're definitely trying to expand all of the schools that we're reaching, and we'd love to see you soon. And have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Bye.